All right, y'all. Welcome back to the JP and Trav show. It's your boy JP. We're back at it again. Hey, some technical difficulties, so that's why we're late getting started. We're gonna go ahead and try to pull him in really quick. So let's see if we can pull him in and if we can get this thing started. Trav, how you doing? Can you hear me, brother?
What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? I hope my connection's good on this side. I hope everybody can hear me. Got some good, fresh, juicy recruiting news for everybody, and I hope that my connection can hold up because you guys are going to want to hear all of this. So, anyways, I'll throw it back to JP a little bit. We'll see if my connection gets any better than it does, and hope to share with you guys a little bit.
Yeah. Now, I was gonna say we can go ahead and start with some of that, just in case you're a little spotty. Travis at Oktoberfest right now. He's doing some obligations, and so he's a busy man, and he's but we're glad he's even with us tonight. So uh, we definitely want to probably start with the recruiting news just in case something
Yeah,
pops
I've,
off.
I've got I've got about I've got about 30 members out here from Cardinal Club that I've got entertaining. But I hope you guys can hear me. It was a beautiful weekend for us, especially with a couple of specific recruits, um, especially Hero Canoe. Hero Canoe had an amazing time. He was hosted by none other than my favorite commitment from the last couple of years, Kelvin Gilliam. He had my favorite recruitment video of all time. He was the one that hit us with the Boomer Sooner, baby. He was the one that
Mhm.
did that. I share that video all the time on Twitter. That's my guy. So he was hosted by him. His mother had the best time she could have had. That's important in recruiting. If mom's happy, everybody happy. So
Mhm.
his mom ended up purchasing a bunch of OU gear. She loves it. She couldn't shut up on Twitter about it either. She loved OU. Hero is in a great spot for us. Great spot. Um, Isaiah Thomas, man, this is so out of the blue. I've never even seen anything like it, to be honest. He was down between Georgia Tech, Florida, and LSU. Well, for those of you that remember, we didn't even make his top three. For those of you that remember, Florida played LSU at 2:30 when he was in Norman for our game. For those of you that don't remember that game, LSU ran for over 300 yards against Florida. LSU is the 127th ranked run offense in the country. They ran for over 300 yards on Florida. The insider information says that Dan Mullen had planned on leaving last year to go to the NFL. There were multiple reports that he had told his agent to get him an NFL job. He thought he would get an NFL job. Turns out he didn't. So now he's in Gainesville and he has no idea what's going on. He never planned to be here. His recruiting has taken a toll. His gameplay has taken a toll. You see the product on the field. Sure, they played Bam.
Oh no, looks like we may have lost Trav, guys. Let's see. Yeah, maybe kicking him. That's the tough part, guys. When we get into real life stuff, man. Um, sometimes this happens, and it's not a big deal. Let's see if we can pull him back in real quick. Looks like he's down here. Trav, you still there, buddy? Man. Okay. So basically, what he was saying is just to continue off of what Travis was saying. And guys, Travis is doing his job. He's at Oktoberfest with a bunch of his clients from Cardinal Club. He's being Trav, and so we're thankful for him. We're thankful for him even being here and trying to show up. But for those of you who are just joining us, what he was talking about was basically the craziness that is Azariah Thomas, right? This guy's a 4-star safety that we weren't in the top 3 over. Georgia Tech, it was Florida, and LSU. And so what Travis was talking about is how, Dan Mullen wasn't even expecting to be at Florida. He's supposed to be gone. I remember last year when he was talking about the JV players when we played them, and just the comments that he made is real weird. So obviously he wasn't expecting to be there anymore. But now he's here. And he doesn't know what he's doing. And that's why the product on the field is the way it is, why recruiting the way it is. And so it kind of opened the door for us. And let's just say, I'm not going to spill too much. I'm going to let Trav do that if he has the opportunity to get back in here. But let's just say he had a really, really, really great time. Let's just say that. And OU seems to be in a very, very, very good position for him. And there's just a lot of other things that are popping off that we can't necessarily divulge to you guys right now. But when the time comes, we definitely are going to. So hey, again, guys, welcome back to the JP and Trav show. Trav, unfortunately, will probably not be able to be with us for the majority of the show. He's out doing Oktoberfest with a lot of his clients. He's a busy man. The phone connection is just spotty out there. He tried to join us early on. We had him for about 5 minutes. He was explaining the recruiting side. But for the most part, that's kind of what it is, guys. Is recruiting wise, we've kind of gotten hot the last couple of days. Gentry Williams obviously had committed to Oklahoma University. He's talking about us going to get Chris McClellan. We had Hero Kanu who visited. They had a great time, right? That was kind of out of nowhere. Azariah Thomas that we just talked about visited, had a great time, and Crystal Balls are put in for them. Like that's a big time, and they're big time defensive recruits. And so it just goes to show the work that Grinch and his staff are doing. And we'll get into the defense and how they've looked the last couple of weeks and why here in just a little bit. But nevertheless, you gotta like where the defensive recruiting is trending. It's huge. It's huge. Just like you guys said, we're gonna keep it rolling. So here's what we're gonna do. Tattoo Trav is out with his buddies at the Cardinal Club. He was at Oktoberfest. He tried to join us. The connection was just way too spotty. So he's just kind of be in and out. And so that's just kind of what it is. We'll just see where we're gonna go from there. So basically, here's what we're gonna do. I'm going to continue to talk about OU-TCU like we had planned. We'll talk about Caleb Williams, what he did. We'll talk about what's going to look like at Kansas this weekend. Here's the great thing about this live stream. I can interact with you guys pretty easily. And so this is what we're going to do, right? I'm a big interaction guy. I'm going to allow you guys to ask questions. You guys comment in the comment section. I'm going to pull some of that up. We're just going to converse together a little bit here. And again, we'll go towards the end. And then we'll hopefully have some other questions that we've had asked on Twitter that I'll get to answer as well. Again, for those of you who just joined us, Trav, unfortunately, just wasn't going to be able to do it the whole show. He in a bad spot, bad connection. He's with some of his clients. And so that, hey, we're going to support him in that. And we're going to get this rolling. We got a deep crew rolling here. We got 16 strong already. In the comment sections, go ahead and interact with me and we'll get this rolling. So, hey, first things first, let's just talk about Caleb Williams. Can we do that for a second, y'all? Caleb Williams, let's just look at it, right? He comes into a game versus Texas, okay? Red River rivalry. In the middle of the game, okay? Spencer Rattler's not playing that well. He's like, hey, let's go in here. Let's go in here. Let's do what we need to do. He didn't worry about it. He wasn't phased. He was poised. That's what Patrick Fields said after the game. That's what Jane Hazelwood said. He got a lot of poise for a freshman, a lot of leadership for a freshman. And that showed in the Texas game. Then we come out here. We see on TCU, or against TCU, excuse me. What is he going to do? Right? And everybody said, well, when people can scheme for him, we don't know what he's going to do. And I guess one game. Trust me, I guess one game. But when people can scheme for him, then what? And I'm like, I mean, yeah, you could scheme for who you want to scheme for, but I don't mean you're going to be able to stop him, right? You can say his tendencies, but Lincoln Riley, when you put that type of athlete with Lincoln Riley, it's not going to go well for you. And that's the difference, right? Is Spencer Rattler, for as good of an arm talent as he is, he does not have the athleticism that Caleb Williams has. And he's not able to kind of provide that extra element of a run game, which is the problem. And that was the problem with the offensive line, the way it was playing early Now, if the offensive line played how they played against TCU the first couple weeks of the season, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't know if we see Caleb Williams, but I'm also not positive that I can't talk, y'all. I'm tripping. That does not coincide with how Caleb Williams has been playing in the boost he's given the offense. The offensive line has more confidence, okay, because they probably don't think that if they blow an assignment, it's going to give up a sack. They also have more confidence in the run game because they're actually allowed to block further downfield. They actually have guys that they can lock up with, as opposed to an extra guy that's going to come down and not have to worry about the run or the pass game. Excuse me. That's the difference. And with Spencer Rattler in there, they're not going to commit an extra guy for him, right? They're not worried about that. So receivers can't get open. In the passing game, receivers were getting open against TCU. That's why you saw him pass for 295 yards with 5 total touchdowns. I mean, everybody that saw that run, right, that 41-yard touchdown run, that's the type of play that catapults you in the stardom, because you had the corner blitz, cat blitz, perfect call, honestly, by Gary Patterson. They had guys in position, but Caleb just getting the skirt, right, and he went around all the way down to the touchdown, 41 yards, and it was the type of run that made you stand up at your seat and go, oh my gosh, this guy's special. Not only that, he has an arm. He has arm talent out of this world. That throw to Jaden Hazelwood on the RPO slant, right? That was about 20, 25-yard throw. Bullet, right? Nuts. He underthrew a couple balls early that maybe could have been touchdowns, but he also had a couple touchdowns dropped. And so overall, I think you have to look at it and you have to say Caleb Williams, to have that be his first start. And again, remember, this guy didn't play his senior year, right? To have that be his first start was crazy. Absolutely crazy. And so, hey, you guys talk about what did you guys think about Caleb Williams' performance in his first start against TCU? You go ahead and drop those in the comments. I'll put some of those up here and we'll chat about it. But for me, I think moving forward, he's honestly probably going to supplant himself as a bigger picture in the Heisman race. Like, that's what Kirk Herbstreit was saying. And I'm not saying that I think he's going to win. That's a lot to ask of a true freshman. That's a lot for somebody that is just starting. Nevertheless, like, he still started against Gary Patterson, y'all. He still started against Gary Patterson. Like, it was absolutely nuts. Let's look at some of these. They're absolutely, hey, that man was going off. He does remind me of Kyler. And here's the thing. He's basically, and RJ Young said it. He said his friend said he's if Baker and Kyler had a love child, it would be Caleb Williams. Caleb's not quite as fast as Kyler, but he's also got the charisma that Baker had. He's also just built like Baker was, right? Like, Baker was built. Like, he didn't go down easy. I'm not saying Kyler did either necessarily, but you're not gonna get Caleb down with arm tackles. That's just the facts, right? That's just the truth of the matter. You're not going to get him down with arm tackles at all, and that's going to provide, again, a whole different element. He can be in the power run game, which I'm not saying you want to put in that position, but he can be. He can also blow past you for 40, 50-yard runs, okay, a la Jalen Hurts, but he didn't finish them. Jalen didn't finish a couple of his runs. I think Caleb can finish them, but he's also got the Kyler and Baker arm that Jalen just did not have. And that was the thing in 2019 that a lot of people sometimes held us back, and why people were asking for Spencer Rattler, stupidly so at the time, because Jalen finished second in Heisman voting. But it's why the things you saw against TCU, where Caleb is affecting the run game the way he is, and he's not afraid to take those shots. Sometimes Jalen was afraid to do that. And so this is going to be, like Keegan Ray New on Twitter has said, this is going to be 2019 on steroids. So if Jalen had the arm we all wishes he had while he was at OU, that's what this is going to be like. And it's going to be fun. Guess what? We get 2 more full years of this dude. The rest of this year, barring injury, 2 more full years. The fact that he's already this good is incredible. Absolutely. The pause will come in experience. They talked about that. He was late on the Jeremiah Hall touchdown throw, still whipped it in there, right? He got too deep on some of his drops. Where he could have stepped up a little bit more. And he doesn't really fade back too much. He still steps in the pocket really well, but he got too deep and needs to step up to for those tackles to actually be able to create that pocket, and so that when the defensive end book in, they're not right there. He still has that time to throw the ball. But overall, man, you can't be upset with what he did. And now Sheila, I don't know if there's anything to that. I'm gonna be real with you. Um, I understand that they could be frustrated with Spencer. I think the biggest frustration comes from not giving them a chance. Here's the thing: I'm not gonna say whether that's on Spencer or whether that's on the offensive line, right? Because again, Spencer didn't always have the time, and he couldn't get himself out of these situations like I think Caleb is actually going to be able to, and has shown the ability to get himself out of some of these situations. And again, that builds some confidence in the offensive line. Doesn't mean that they should just be like, "Oh, we're not going to be able to block," but it's like, man, he's working hard to get out of these, and he's making explosive plays. We need to block better for him, right? And he, just the leadership that he showed, right, going around in different position groups during huddles and hyping them up, right? Like Kirk Hershey was saying, he was just watching them on the sideline on Saturday. I think that's the difference. I think that is the difference. Honestly, if I was going to be honest, Brian says my insight. He just seems like he is a gamer. I mean, if I'm coming down to Texas and being as cool as he was, will anything really get to this guy? Leader, fighter, raw, electric, and elite come to mind. Hey, I agree, Brian. Like all those things come to mind, and yeah, we still haven't seen adversity for him. I would say that there's a lot of adversity coming into a down 21 points into the River rivalry and your undefeated season on the line. Some people will say, well, when you go into that situation, you don't, you're just playing with reckless abandon. You can do what you want. I'm like, oh, that's a pretty pressure filled situation, dog. Like I I don't know if y'all have played sports, but like if I'm being asked to come into a game like that, down that many points, I'm probably freaking out. Especially it's my first like real game time besides Western Carolina. I'm like, yo, this is a lot. And for him to play the way he did, I think shows what he's going to be. So ultimately, in defining moments, you said it perfectly, dude. Leadership, taking ownership, and that is, I think, what separates right now Caleb from Spencer. Um, I think Spencer is probably a good leader in the fact of like he can get people to like him on the team, but there's a difference between that and actually leading, right? Like I'm an athletic director. I talk to my coaches about this all the time. Like your kids can like you. That doesn't mean that you're a great leader, right? Like your kids can say, "Oh yeah, they're cool. Like we like to hang out with them." That doesn't mean you're a great leader. It doesn't mean that you're creating great young men or great young women. It doesn't mean that you're pushing them to be the best that they can be. Great leaders can do both, right? They can have your respect, but they can also, yeah, like we can be cool, we can talk, we can do all this, but at the end of the day, I'll push you to be the best that you can be, and I'm gonna be right in there in the dog fight with you, right? That's why I tell my coaches. That's why I try to model for my coaches and for my athletes at my school. Because I'm not gonna ask them to do nothing I'm not doing. That'll make no sense. Right. And so ultimately, Caleb is what we're seeing Caleb do, which is getting into these situations where he is going in and trying to affect change in these different groups. That is the difference. He's going and he's actively doing that. He's not waiting for somebody to ask him to do it. He's not waiting for somebody to come and tell him to do it, right? It's just kind of he has it. He has it. It doesn't mean Spencer's a bad person. Doesn't mean he's a bad quarterback, right? There sometimes you just have guys that are different. Like even if we're talking about Kyler and Baker, Baker and Kyler were back to, I mean, two great quarterbacks, right? Heisman winners, number one draft picks, right? They both have it. They do. But at some point, sometimes some talent supersedes the other. Like right now, we're seeing in the league, Baker is really good. He's really good. Kyler is just more talented, and he's going to be able to do a little bit more than Baker. Okay, so talking from the talent perspective, I think that's the situation we're in right now. Just with Caleb and Spencer, doesn't mean Spencer's not can't be really good somewhere else. Doesn't mean he can't be good in the NFL one day. But right now, Caleb is just that dude, y'all. He is that dude, and it's so clear to everybody watching. And he is only a freshman, and he didn't even play in his senior year. Do y'all know how crazy that is? That is insane. At the University of Oklahoma, right? Can we all just say, hey, thank you, Brock Vandagriff? You remember everybody's freaking out. Oh my gosh, Brock Vandagriff, like, what are we going to do? Then Lincoln said, let me just go out and get this dude, this cat, who Kirk Herbstreit now says is going to be the face of college football for the next 2.5 years. Hey, we're blessed as Oklahoma fans. What can we say? All right, hey, let's get to the defense a little bit. What can we reasonably expect to get, or who can we, reasonably expect to get some rest against Kansas this week? And this question specifically is going more on the defensive side of the ball because obviously nobody's happy with how the defense performed on Saturday. Max Duggan is a pretty good quarterback. Okay, Quentin Johnson is a great wide receiver, but there's no reason Max Duggan is coming to own field and throwing for 360, 370 yards with 4 touchdowns and no interceptions. The defensive line got no pressure. Okay, the cornerbacks, there was maybe 1 or 2 broken plays, but for the most part, it's just not making plays on the ball. And a lot of them are young, right? Billy Bowman had to go to cornerback. Like he'd been playing nickelback all year. You can see the talent that kid has, and I wasn't mad at it. And some of those are just luck plays. Like I talked about it on my Twitter, guys. Like the fact that the one play where Billy's right here, he didn't have his head turned, but he's right here swiping at the ball, and the ball goes through Quentin Johnson's hands like this. Y'all remember that play? And it hits off his knee, and then he just catches it off his knee, and then he takes it to the house. That's crazy. Like I'm not gonna blame Billy Bowman for that. Like you can say make a play on the ball all you want, but it's crazy how nuts that was. Then you have Joshua Eaton right here, got the ball in his hands, and it just gets ripped out by a receiver that's probably going to go in the first 2 rounds of the NFL draft. Like, again, I'm not saying that there aren't issues, but it's the little things like that, right? My biggest issue is more the defensive line. We know how good the defensive line is supposed to be, but they just haven't seemed to show up. And we'll get into that in a little bit. I don't know how much of that is them. I think some of it is, but how much of it is that we're not playing our best linemen consistently, correct? Jimmy, I like what you had to say, dog. Like we missed too many tackles and had too many big plays given up by defense. And Teddy talked about it on his podcast with Gabe. And if you guys haven't done that or seen that, you guys need to go watch that every week. It's so good. It's so good. I try to listen to it every week. Teddy was talking about cover 3, right? And how when you have that corner over here, the one is in a flat to seam, okay, or a seam to flat, excuse me. So when make sure my hands are weird. Make sure, okay. So if you got the corner over here, this guy, okay, sorry y'all, this guy, if he's going up this way, he's carrying him to this guy, to the safety over top. If there's a guy that comes in the flat over here. Okay, sorry, it's a mirror, so it's weird. If there's a guy that comes in the flat over here, then he releases and comes down to get that guy. What was happening is he's going up, and you saw it. You can see with Jaden Davis, and I don't know if it was Key Lawrence or if it was Patrick Fields, but they both took this guy, and Quentin Johnson was just right here, boom, went for like 40 yards because Jaden Davis never came down or whoever never came down and took their responsibility. And they both kind of looked at each other. Jaden kind of pointed and said, hey, go get him or something like that, something to that effect. And that was the problem, right, is things like that. And Teddy's issue was, guys, this is week 7. Like, this is simple stuff. And so, like, yeah, we're missing DTY. We're missing Woody Washington. And again, we want to get those guys back. And can those guys get a rest week against Kansas? Like, if they could come back, should they? I think is the question that we're asking. And can we get Joshua Eaton? Can we get DJ Graham? DJ Graham probably needs to rest too if he has a concussion or is even close. Can we get Joshua Eaton? Can we get Latrell McCutcheon some good reps against Kansas passing offense that is almost as bad as OU's passing defense is statistically right now? So something's got to give. So if Kansas throws for over 300 yards on us, there's a problem. That's what I was saying. There's a problem. Top defensive teams probably have more 4 or 5-star players than bad. And hey, like I can see that, Sheila, but I will also say we have a lot of youth, okay? And so like we like DTY and Patrick Fields. They're still Mike Stoops guys. Like I'm not like I love them. Don't get me wrong, but they are still Mike Stoops. And DTY has been way better than Patrick Fields has been. If we're going to be honest, just way better in most aspects. And so we miss him a lot. We miss Woody a lot. But a lot of these other things are kind of young boy mistakes. I mean, I'm not going to get mad at Latrell McCutcheon or Joshua Eaton. They haven't been here too much. Now I will get upset at the tackling. The tackling has kind of been soft, like Sean is saying here. I think Tulane game is one thing. Like I think they just didn't want to play. That's one thing. I don't think that they were soft against Nebraska, Sean. Like we held them to 16 points. I'm not. I'm more mad at the offense on that game than I was at the defense per se. Now, I mean, we can talk about them getting the ball is being trudged up the field. We can't get off the field. I can understand maybe that piece of it if that's what you're talking about specifically. But I would say ultimately we did hold them to 16 points and we weren't giving up explosive plays. Normally we've been wanting people to go in chunks. I know we preach a 3 and out, but we rather people go like that and be able to make a mistake. Give them another play to make a mistake than give a big play that's a touchdown, right? Which is what we saw against TCU, which you really haven't seen in droves since Mike Stoops. And I think that's why people were concerned. So ultimately, I think that, yeah, we definitely, Jacob, we probably are playing more zone coverage due to defensive back depth issues, which is why it's important for the defensive line to get to the quarterback. And they didn't do it against Skylar Thompson, who was hobbled. They didn't do it against Max Duggan, who was, a little hobbled. And I don't know why that is, y'all. Like I haven't watched the All 22 film. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know why we can't get penetration. We have good enough guys, and we know that. And they've shown it this year. Like, so I think it's interesting what maybe some of the things are. And I think they're still figuring it out. Like last year it was great, like good for the most part. Like we didn't have any qualms. This year it seems they're taking a step back. So I don't know what it is necessarily. I mean, I think clearly we miss Trey Norwood and Trey Brown, right? I mean, look at what they're doing in the league right now. I think we miss them. And so that was some of that senior experience and leadership that I think I'm hoping next year and even in the next year when Grinch's guys are, juniors and seniors, that they'll be able to provide some of that. And they're also going to have way more physical capabilities than a Patrick Fields maybe has. And again, don't get me wrong, love Patrick Fields, but some of these guys that Grinch is recruiting have more physical capabilities. Grinch would not have recruited Pat Fields. I'm just being honest with you. We do miss Jalen Redmond on the interior. He's just a big physical dude. I absolutely believe that. Isaiah Thomas has been fine. Pierre Winfrey's been good. Josh Ellison, I've wanted him to step up more. We have guys. It's just interesting. I'm not sure what it is. I did say on my review, I wonder if especially against like quarterbacks like Max Duggan and a quarterback like Skylar Thompson, who even though he's excuse me, even though wasn't mobile because he had a knee injury, Skylar Thompson specifically, the game plan is to try to keep those quarterbacks in the pocket because traditionally they like to get out of the pocket, make plays, or run with their feet. And so obviously when you do that, you have to maintain gap integrity, right? You can't just rush wildly. And so I wonder if that's what's happening and if they're trying to do that. And I've seen that. Like, I don't think I've seen them get out of the pocket too much, but Max Duggan was just making money throws. And also guys would be wide open. And it's like, okay, is there a way that we can just say, like, yo, obviously we know this dude's hurt. Can we just get to him? Right? Can we just get to the quarterback? Here's one other thing I completely agree with, Jacob. Reggie Grimes. That man is coming. Y'all, he's only a true sophomore. Y'all wait on him. He's coming on, dog. He's coming on. He's going to be a big player for us down the stretch here. And next year, he might be a preseason All-American. I'm just going to be honest with you. That man has been a beast. Him and Nick Benito in the end zone. We all saw, go look at Sooner Gridiron's tweet, and I put it back up. They got egregiously held. They did. It's just the truth. It's the facts. We'll let it go because we're not Texas. And we're not going to complain about it for weeks on end on Twitter and saying it's the reason that we lost our game. But again, I digress. All right. So, we answered this question. We've been talking about it. What's going on with OU's defensive line as of late? My biggest thing was, hey, does this have anything to do with Grinch rotating so many guys? And I don't know the answer to that. I don't think so. Y'all let me know what you think. I think that, again, what I said, whether it's who we're playing and if it's about gap integrity and not getting upfield because of that, or if it is like, hey, we're not getting our best guys in there consistently. Like, yeah, we can talk about playing your heart out to the point where you're tired, and we have the depth on the defensive line to put guys in there. But sometimes it's painful not to see Nick Benito, who should be All American, not in there the majority of the time. Like not at least 80% of the time. It seems like he's in there like 50, right? So I don't know. We'll just have to see how it continues because we're going to need them down the stretch, guys, especially in Championship November when we play Baylor, Iowa State, and Oklahoma State to end the year. We're going to need those guys, and we're going to need them to step up. I do believe they'll be fine. I do believe they'll figure it out. They're too good to not figure it out. Um, Again, I digress. I don't want to spend too much time on it. I'd like to talk about a little bit of this week against Kansas and what that's going to look like, and then we'll get to some questions and we'll go ahead and get out of here. Travis said he misses you guys. He texted me. He said he's sorry he's not here this week. It was what it was. Not a big deal. Hey, we love him, and we're keeping it rolling. You guys are continuing to engage with me. Go ahead and continue to engage me if you have any questions or if you have anything you want said. I'll go ahead and pull it up here, and we'll just talk about it a little bit. But here's what I'm saying, and Jimmy, this is a good point. We'll end with this. We are a bend but don't break defense, and it doesn't work well with a young, experienced secondary. I agree, right? Because like that's what you see with Iowa, that's what you see with the Baylor, that's what you see with the Iowa State, right? Like those secondaries that employ like 5, 6 DBs that are really they don't allow the top to go off of them. They're bend but don't break, right? But they are decisive. They know where they're supposed to be almost always. And I don't want to say that we're always getting out coached. Like I don't want to believe that, but maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Because it seems like some of these other defenses are so much better coached and disciplined than we are. And I don't know who to attribute that to. You could say it's Alex Grinch. I don't know if it's him or if it's the players that are making the mistakes, right? Like, and some of them, most of them are inexperienced, especially in the secondary. So like, it's a hard balance, right, to kind of figure out. Um, let's talk about Kansas. They are terrible, which is why we've talked about resting players. Like, and again, you got to win the game, obviously. I think Spencer Rattler is going to play the entire second half. That's how bad Kansas is. And I know we have a penchant to make good teams look bad, or excuse me, bad teams look good. I don't think that's going to happen with this Kansas team, y'all. Like, if we don't win, I think our line is 39 and a half. That's nuts. That's absolutely crazy. If we don't win by 30, I would probably have a problem. I'll say, yo, what's going on? Because I don't care what they scheme up, right? Iowa State beat them 59-7. Come on, y'all. Come on now. But the way Caleb Williams is playing, we better get up there and run 50 on them in the first half. Give Spencer Rattler keys the second half, score about 20 more, and then let them cruise it out. Don't get nobody else hurt. That's how we should be going, in my opinion. That's the way we should be going. Jacob said Spencer's in the third, Ralph in the fourth. I agree. I'm fine with that. And that's what it should probably be. That's what it should probably be. And I understand getting more experience, but not in this game. It's not going to help him. Like maybe a little bit. I don't see him playing the second half. Maybe a couple snaps. But if we're up like 30, there ain't no way he's playing. Because I don't know. Like Lincoln has the luxury to say, well, if I want to give him more experience, and if he does get hurt, we still got 5-star on the bench. Granted, who's not played well, but who probably has a fire lit under his butt right now. And if he gets the opportunity, who knows, right? Maybe this is really shaking him up. Like, I need to take some of this stuff seriously. Even if he never plays significant stuff for OU again, I hope wherever he goes, he gets his head out of his butt, in my opinion. I agree, Jacob. We got to get out of Lawrence injury free. We already got enough We already got enough. And yeah, while I want to win the game by 30, I'd rather win and get out of there. I don't care what people say. I don't care what the optics are. We want to get out of there healthy, then beat Texas Tech next week, and then get ourselves to the bye so that we can get ready for this gauntlet of a stretch that will include Baylor, Iowa State, Oklahoma State. Beginning of the year, did we think it was going to be a gauntlet? Not necessarily. Baylor was okay last year. They've proven to be a lot better this year. We knew Iowa State was going to be something, and honestly, Iowa State may be the worst out of the three teams in that stretch, which at the beginning of the year nobody probably thought. And Oklahoma State's sitting there waiting at the end. Bedlam, here it comes. It's like the early 2000s, or early 2000s, excuse me, early 2010s to mid 2010s, where it seemed like almost every year the Big 12 was coming down to Bedlam at the end. And it looks like it may be that way again. It's pretty cool, pretty crazy too. So, is what it is here the whole time. Trav is out at an event with some of his buddies from the Cardinal Club, his clients, and so he tried to get on with us. The connection just wasn't working, so it's just me, y'all in here. We getting it. Trav said he missed y'all. We're gonna be back next week. Y'all go ahead and continue to comment in the comment section. We're just gonna talk back and forth, have a good time. I'm gonna give us about maybe 20 more minutes together. We'll get to a question portion. Some of y'all are asking questions already. I love it. Go ahead, keep going. I'm gonna put it up and we'll just converse, okay? Grant asked, which team is the worst matchup for us down the stretch? If you want me to be real with you, I think Baylor is. Out of the three, I think Baylor is. Aranda's defense is nasty at Baylor. It's just as nasty as what's that dude's name? I can't remember his name. Carolina Panthers head coach. You gotta tell me what his name is. I know it, but it's Matt Rule. Matt Rule is his defense is just as nasty as Matt Rule's was, and it seems like the offense is going in a better direction than when Matt Rule was there. Y'all remember Gary Bohannon, dude that came in and just, did some things against us in the championship game until he got hurt, and then they had to put the third backup in who did some more things against us. Yeah, he's actually playing pretty well, and the thing is, we should be able to take care of Baylor and handle them. But if I'm not mistaken, Waco, correct? Yeah, 11 touchdowns and 1 interception on the year. Good pickup, Jacob. He's not bad, and he's a dual threat guy. He's a dual threat guy. We struggle with dual threat guys. Our defensive line struggles with dual threat guys because they don't get pressure. Like I said, because they're trying to maintain gap integrity. Just throwing that out there already. And again, if it's in Waco, I'm telling you. Oh, it's my boy. Hey, y'all say what's up to Ty in the chat. That's my boy Ty from Around the Table Sports. Y'all go subscribe to him right now. And yeah, please hit the like button. Hit the like button. It's going to help the channel out, the Indie Shooter channel out. And if y'all haven't subscribed, you need to subscribe. But yeah, go ahead and subscribe to Round Table Sports. He's a Bama fan, but we love him because he's very, very reasonable, very, very partial, or excuse me, impartial. And he does a great job. So y'all go check his content out. But for real, if it's in Waco, it's always tough to play there. Okay. And with a team like that's hot like they are, I think they're going to be our toughest. And here's why I say that. Iowa State, which will be here in Norman, I think we should be fine. Like Brock Purdy is not that guy. He's okay, but he's not that guy. Super duper explosive, and he's prone to make bad mistakes. And he's not that mobile. Okay. We're as bad as our pass defense have been. As bad as our pass defense has been, our run defense has been really good. We have a top 10 run defense. Brees Hall is not going to do that to us, just like Bijan really didn't. He had the one big run. Other than that, we shut him down. I think we'll do the same with Brees Hall, but that's what Iowa State wants to do. I'm not as concerned about Iowa State, to be honest. And yes, I agree, Jacob. They didn't grow from last year. They seem to be the same exact team. And again, I don't believe that they're going to be prepared for Caleb Williams. Like, again, their defense is predicated off of quarterback, like bend don't break, quarterback, rallying to the ball, that's fine. They're not going to be able to put an extra guy down there, y'all. Like Spencer tore them up last year at times, especially in the championship game. This is going to be a whole different animal for them to have to deal with. Okay, if you go back and watch the Kyler Murray at Iowa State game, he presented a lot of problems for them. Okay, even Jalen Hurts, like a lot of problems. So I don't find that to be a big deal. Same with Oklahoma State. Like Spencer Sanders is not that dude. He's really not. That's the one quarterback I am least worried about. I am least worried about. Just to be real with you, their defense is good. They are good, but they're not enough to make up for Spencer Sanders. They're just not. At the end of the day, in my opinion, we are still the toast of the Big 12, and we got to act that way. Ty says he agrees about the Baylor game. Should be a really interesting one. Brock Purdy needs to run to generate the pass, and y'all have taken that exactly. That's my point. It's not. It's just Brock Purdy's not like that without the running game, and we're gonna take that away. We just are. So I think my most concerning game down the stretch is Baylor because it's at Waco, and I know that Bedlam is in Stillwater. Excuse me, but again, I'm not too worried about it. I don't think Oklahoma State has really played all that well, especially offensively. Their defense has really kept them in most games, and with the way we're playing with Caleb Williams, I think it's going to be tough for them. And if we have all of our guys back, like if Woody's back, DTY, Jalen is back, I think it's a double-digit win for us. If I'm being real with you, so that's my opinion. So we'll have to see for sure. This is coming from someone who thought, yeah, I mean, you're right. They just haven't been where everybody thought they'd be, Ty. Like everybody thought they were going to be a college football playoff contender, and that's just not it. That's why I was planning on going to the Iowa State game, and I am going to the Iowa State game in Dorman. So any of y'all that are down there, I'll be there. Come say what's up to your boy. I'll be there with a Tattoo and his buddy. I'm sure me and Trav will meet up. But again, yeah, it's just not where we're going. So hey, Kansas this weekend. I'm predicting a final score of 63-14. Y'all go ahead and drop your comments down below. Again, that's why we haven't even really spent that much time on Kansas. I don't want to be disrespectful, but they're just not. They're not like that. They're just not like that. Okay. Let's go ahead and talk about some of these questions that I got from Twitter. Here's one from Spray Richard, who's already in the chat. What up, my boy? He says, how do you see the rotation or depth chart looking at wide receiver when Weiss returns? That's a good question, Spray. I think when Weiss returns, he's probably just going to be a backup to Mike Woods, is what I would say. Like, as much as he can provide a lot of good for us, a lot of depth, that's just how deep we are, right, at wide receiver. And I think, obviously, Theo's going to stay a whole nother year because he hasn't played this whole year. He's got one more year of eligibility left, and that bodes well for just us. We're probably not having any receivers in the 2022 class coming in. If we can get Weiss to stay, get Hazelwood to stay, which I think both of them will and probably could stay. Michael Woods is gone because he's a senior, but Mario will still be there. You'll still have Marvin Mims, who's only a sophomore, so we'll still have Marvin Mims. Who else? We still got Cody Jackson, Jalil Farouk, right? Like, and who knows if we get another transfer, right? But Mike Woods, that man looked like a monster. I'm just telling y'all right now, I want him to get the ball more, right? Y'all see the catch it, turn, he almost took that the distance. He's long, he's athletic. He's probably as big as a receiver we've had since Jeffrey Mead, but he's a thicker, better athlete than Jeffrey Mead ever was. Okay, he's honestly a 2 inches taller version of CD. That's in my opinion. Like he's 6'4.5", and he's got. I mean, just look at. He just looks like a dude. He just looks like a dude. Yes, Ty, they gotta be hurt that he transferred. And I was hurt for a second that he transferred because I'm like, man, he didn't transfer. He didn't transfer for all this. He didn't transfer to be missed by Spencer Rattler multiple times for the first couple of weeks. But then wait a minute, when Caleb Williams come in, he balling out, and I'm wanting that to continue. He is so good. He's better than I thought he would be. He's probably the best transfer receiver we've had because we've gotten to Jeffrey Badette, we've gotten to Justin Brown early in the year. He might be the best transfer receiver I can think of from off the top of my head, at least. So that's what I would say. I think Theo is he only 6'1"? I thought he was 6'4". Is he? If he's 6'1", he's a tall 6'1". He's lanky then, but he's built too. Wow. Hey, remember how they said that Jordan Mukes was only 6'1" though, and then he actually 6'3"? Who knows? Regardless, Weiss, to answer your question, Richard, I think Weiss will probably, if we need him, he'll be able to provide that depth that we have. But I would like to see him just focus on getting healthy and focus on having a great senior year, hopefully, and that he doesn't turn into a Caleb Kelly. He has to be here 6 years. And he's provided some impact, but not the impact we probably thought he would as a 5-star. And it's not necessarily his fault. He's had some injuries. So it kind of is what it is. Let's get some of these other questions. And y'all go ahead and ask questions in the chat. And I'll pull them up as they come. Gmo asks this from Twitter. Do you think it is reasonable that Rattler gets some reps this weekend? And we talked about that a little bit. We said, yeah, I think it's possibly reasonable that Rattler's going to get some reps. I think that we're going to probably see Kansas just not be able to handle Oklahoma, the number 3 team in the land, who's playing like it with Caleb Williams. And I think we're going to see Spencer Rattler get some playing time in the second half. Obviously there's the big commotion today about the Instagram thing, and he took quarterback at OU off of his. I don't know if that's true or not. Again, it's going to both better for him to be there and to be available, seem like a team guy for when whether he goes to the NFL, goes to another team. Because if he's seen as a cancer, people are not going to want him. And who knows, if Caleb gets hurt, and hopefully not, or if he somehow, like we're in Space Jam, gets all of his talents taken by the Monstars, then Spencer could probably come in and spell him, and maybe he does better, right, at that point. But again, I think that we're going to see him play against Kansas, and hopefully we see him perform pretty well. I think hopefully he can get some confidence back. And yeah, I think that we need to be for him. We need to be the adults. Even if people want to say he acts like a child, we need to be the adults, right? At the end of the day. Yeah, we'll just figure it out. So at the end of the day, I think that Rattler is probably going to transfer at the end of the year, and we'll talk about that maybe another time. But that's just my personal opinion. Y'all can ask me about it later. Is it crazy to think Caleb Williams could win the Heisman this season? I think it is. I do think it's crazy, not because of his talent. I just think it's too late. And I know there's no clear runner or front runner necessarily. But I just unless he just goes, has games like 300 yards, 100 yards rushing like Kyler did, and does that the rest of the year. Like maybe he gets an invite. I don't see him winning it. That would be the crazy. That would be the crazy. That's a 30 for 30. This may already be a 30 for 30, but that is a 30 for 30 if Caleb Williams somehow ends up winning the Heisman this year. You have a preseason Heisman favorite, preseason number 1 draft pick in the NFL draft, 2022 coming up this year. He gets benched halfway through the year, not because of him just being inept and terrible, because he's just not good enough for Oklahoma and what we expect. Because if he's at some of these Pac-12 schools, they're loving his stats. They're backing him up, defending him. Not here. Caleb comes in, he does what he does. If he does that the rest of the year and he wins hot, that's a 30 for 30. And we're all gonna be 40, 50 years old saying, at least the ones that are my age now, 20 plus years, we'll be 40, 50 years old saying, do y'all remember that? You know how crazy that was? Do you remember when that happened? Like, that's gonna be a time where we say, do you remember when that happened? For real. Yeah, it absolutely would be the best 30 for 30 ever. Like it would be absolutely nuts. And I would love to see that. Hey, so we got about probably 10 minutes left. Let's go ahead and ask some questions. If you have any, if you have any personal questions for me, I'll answer them. If you have any questions about OU, I'll answer them. And then we'll get you guys out of here. And we'll look forward to destroying Kansas and Lawrence this weekend at 11 a.m. Central Time. Let me see what we have in here from anybody. And again, one more time, if you guys have questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. Um, and I'll respond maybe to some of what you guys have said. Again, any other questions that you have, and even if you have any personal questions about me, just if you want to get to know a little bit more about me, that's fine too. We just want to converse with you guys. So please drop any comments. Okay, what do you think we have, or who do you think we have available in defensive back room right now? I think Latrell and Eaton are your main guys. I do. Unless he's going to start Bowman back at cornerback, which he could. And I don't think he did a bad job. Like, he was on who a lot of people consider the best wide receiver in the Big 12 and one of the best wide receivers in the nation in Quentin Johnston. And he didn't do a terrible job. I mean, he got cooked on one route. And the other one was just a lucky catch. Like, he was there and he was in good position. And he's a true freshman. I think maybe you tinker with those guys. I think Graham needs to heal up. Woody obviously needs to heal up. I mean, I don't know if you put Jaden out there with the performances he's put on, to be honest. Um, I love to see Bryson Washington. I don't know if he goes in there for Patrick Fields or Key Lawrence. I think at this point, Patrick, I don't think Patrick's issues are busts. I think some of his issues are just physical limitations, if I'm being honest with you, and poor tackling angles. Um, but he's probably the smartest guy we have back there, and I think that's why Grinch probably still starts him, in my opinion. But Bryson, I would love to see get a shot. He seems smart. Even that onside kick, heads up play by him. We've heard about his speed. We've heard about all that. I wish Jeremiah Cradell was healthy because we heard about the kind of spring he was having even fall camp, but he just hasn't, for whatever reason, seemed to be healthy. For whatever reason. Um, yes, he has moved a bunch. He just needs more reps. And if you listen to me, let's be real. If you know football, you watch football, which that's why I was so frustrated when people talking about put Billy on the bench. I said, no, don't put Billy on the bench. I said, that's one of our best quarterbacks. I said, I don't care if Quentin Johnson got him in the end zone. I don't care if Quentin Johnson got a lucky catch that was through his elbows, hit his knee, and then he caught it off his knee. I don't care. Billy was in position for both of those. And again, he got moved from nickelback, which he's literally been playing all year, to cornerback. I'm not worried about him. He's a beast. He's going to be good. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that. Um, let's see some of these other ones. He was really raw, but that's the thing. That's how naturally talented he is, right? Like, y'all just got to think about that. Like, oh, Ty, you gonna cover that dog? Appalachian State just beat Coastal Carolina. Well, they're not making it to the college football playoff. There goes that. There goes that. Um. Ooh, okay, Brian. Brian said we asked a recruiting question in regards to Thomas from Florida, Chris McCullen, Hero Canoe. Listen, make sure I don't say too much. I think we have a great shot with Hero. I think it's between Chris and Hero, to be honest with you. I don't know who. Also, I'd like to take both. I like to say they're going to take both. I don't know if that's realistic. I really don't know. As far as Thomas, let's just say it's one of the craziest stories I've ever heard. That's what I'll say about it. That's how good I feel about our chances with him. That's all I'm gonna say. It's one of the craziest stories I've ever heard. Um, yeah, yeah. um, yeah. Uh, nuts. Ty. What? No way. What? What you talking about? Um, also, let's talk about this too. Yes, Gentry did get hosed. So did Raleek. So did Gabriel Brownlow Dindy. So did Gavin Sawchuk. They all got hosed. I don't know why, but you know what? It don't matter. It don't matter because we've always developed. We've always developed. Yeah, that's nuts. Hey, Appalachian State, they're a good program though. So like I could not that I expect them to lose to them, but I see it. Um, so anyways, back to what I was talking about. They dropped for whatever reason, but we developed. We're not and that hey, that's a talking point. I forgot I was going to talk about, and I'll continue to answer you guys' questions. But y'all, some of y'all probably see me going at it with Texas fans the last couple weeks. Here's my thing, and if some of y'all Texas fans are in here, which I don't think a lot of y'all took my invite because I said, hey, if you want the smoke, come on the channel. I'll give you all the smoke you want because I body bag Texas fans out here. Like it's just what I do. I've personally taken hold of me, or excuse me, I've personally taken it personally. What am I saying? What am I saying? I personally taken it personally. What's wrong with me, y'all? I have I have taken it upon myself personally to put these Texas fans in their place. Okay? Here's why. I don't get up every morning and say, "Ugh, how can I bother Texas fans today? How can I make an annoying video about Texas fans today?" That's what a lot of them would have you believe. They go in my comments and they say, "Oh, you're worried about Texas. Why are you so worried about Texas?" Yada yada yada. I'm like, yo, y'all are in my mentions, right? Which is why I made my video in the first place, talking about I have never in my life seen a program who lost to their rival, who was up 21 points, gave up 25 points in the fourth quarter, still talk as if they won after the game, the whole week after. And that's what I said. Yet I'm being said, why you care about Texas so much? Why are we in your thoughts? Rent free. All these stupid things. I'm like, yo, like, no, it's hilarious. Like y'all are delusional. Like you continue to talk, even though you just got whooped. They still out here talking, even with 3 L's. They got 3 of them. Arkansas, us, Oklahoma State, the whole state of Oklahoma owns them. And they just, oh, Sark is going to be so good. And I think he will be, keyword, will be. I truly do think that. I do. I think he will have something good there. But it's if they let him. Because the problem has never been really the coaches. It's been behind the scenes stuff. The boosters. We know that. And when you try to tell them, they say, no, no, Texas is going to be a force to be reckoned with. We're going to do this. We're going to do, okay. All right. And when I get told, Texas just doesn't have the talent yet. Wait till Sark gets his guys in there. Wait till he gets talent. I'm like, hold on. Maybe outside of Oklahoma, people don't have more talent than you in the Big 12. But everybody else is not even close to you in talent. So I don't want to hear that. I'm like, you guys have 4 and 5 stars galore. It's development. It's not about that you don't have as much talent. Oklahoma State barely has any if not any 5 stars. They're not even close to the talent you guys have. And y'all just lost to them at home. Like, had a lead on them. But I'm being told, oh, well, we don't have depth. We need more talent. Are you serious right now, dog? Y'all just had a number 3 class 2 years ago. What are you talking about? Yes, Ty, and that's what we talked. That's what I talked to you about last time, bro. Like they're crazy. They've had 6 first round, and it's not for lack of talent. It's for lack of development, and it always has been lack of development. So I don't want to hear we don't have the talent crap because that's just not true. And I think over time, I think Sark is going to put them in the best position. This is his first year. But some of them were talking like, oh, they're going to win the Big 12. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. And you know what? They have 3 L's right now. So I don't want to hear anything from them. And I told them they could come on here and get the smoke, and they didn't want none. They want to complain about me making videos because I'm a content creator instead of coming on here and getting the smoke for real. All right, I'm done. I'm sorry. I got a little fiery. Y'all know I can't stand them down south of the Red River. Hey, any more questions? A couple more questions, and we'll hop off here. 5 more minutes. Ask me anything about the games. Again, y'all got any personal questions for me at all? I'm cool to vibe with y'all for another couple minutes. Yes, they have, Jacob. Yes, we are, Grant. Yes, we are. Eight of them. I agree, Ty. I think he will. I think he will be good. Like, I think the framework is there. Their issue this year is their defense. And you can say PK doesn't have his guys, but like, it's not like Texas don't have the talent. Texas has more talent defensive than OU's defense has. Maybe not the defensive line, but like at linebacker and in the defensive backfield, they got more talent technically. Look at star ratings. So, I hope 2023. I'd love to see that. Now, I don't know. I mean, maybe that's what's going to happen with, who the Big 12 is bringing in. I think that maybe that opens the door for us to leave a little bit later, or a little bit earlier than expected. But who knows? Hey, much love, big dog. My boy Derek, appreciate you. Yeah, they did. And you had people on there talking about how PK is a better defensive coordinator than Alex Grinch. And I'm not going to say unequivocally whether that's true or not. But again, like, you can't talk that talk when your defense is giving up what your defense is giving up. Like, you gave up 339 rushing yards to us, but you want to talk about our defense. Like, I don't want to hear it. That's the problem. Their defense is a problem this year. Yes, DeMar being Overshown, I'd love to have him. He's the definition of speed D. Like, when you think of speed D, linebackers like that, him, boom. Brian Asamoah is like that a little bit. He sometimes he triggers like that. Deshaun White and David O'Guay would have been way too slow. I'm gonna be candid with y'all. I love them. They need to get a little faster. But yes, I would love to have DeMarvion Overshown. I'm not even gonna cap. Yes, he did a lot. He does a lot for them what Kenneth Murray did for us. And hey, here's what I will say, Ty. PK scheme, I think is interesting and good. I think, but it worked in the Pac-12. This is not the Pac-12, dog. It's not. This is for everybody that wants to act like the Big 12 is trash. Like, the Big 12 is a step up, dog. It's a step up. Okay, and they better not be thinking about heading to the SEC with that. And I feel the same way. We need to get a little tougher too, right? In my opinion, but the offenses are just different and better. That's what I'll say about PK, because he was at Washington, and again, they did good things, but even when they played really, really good teams, it's not like PK didn't get scored on. So, facts. That's a fact. That's a fact. I think some of them believe what they say, Derek. And that's my problem. Like, Trav tells me, he says, Jalen, JP, don't get into it with these guys. Like, they don't do that. Like, leave the trolling alone. But I just like I want God gave me the heart to help guys. Like I want to help them. I want to help them see what's wrong. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I want to help them see y'all are crazy and you're delusional. Okay. I pride myself on being reasonable. You can ask Ty, right? Ty, go ahead, put it in the chat. When we talk, I told you I try to be reasonable. I don't try to be a homer. I try to be real about things. Just like I said I would take DeMarvin Overshown as our starting line, as one of our starting linebackers in a heartbeat. I don't care that he goes to Texas. Do I like Texas? No. But I'm that objective that I can say that. And I try to do that. I do. What, bro? I'm just being real. Like, I just it's I try to help them see the folly in their ways. I do. Okay. Um, this is what their defense looks like right now. Hey, they're better at pass defense than we are. Let's just say that. But our rush defense makes up for it. And that I think is bigger than anything else. The discrepancy between our rush defense and our pass defense is so great that I think we have to say that it's not that our pass defense is that bad. We maybe have some miscommunication errors. We maybe have some injuries that we're dealing with, but I don't think it. I don't think ultimately it's something we gotta change because the pieces are there. The rush defense is there. It's not holistic. Our rush defense can't be that good for our pass defense to be that bad, in my opinion. Um, but hey, um, yes, I think it's due to big plays more than anything else. We just got to tackle better. At the end of the day, we just got to tackle better. So that's how I feel. Hey, did any of y'all drop y'all score predictions in the chat? Y'all, before we head out, go ahead and drop your score predictions for this weekend. I want to see what y'all are thinking. I said 63-14 personally. Let me see what some of y'all are thinking, and then we'll go ahead and get out of here. Let y'all go on your ways for your Wednesday night. And I can get a little bit. I can get some rest. I'm on fall break this week, thank God. Get a little bit of a break. Typically, I had to get up around 7, but I'm gonna have some time to sleep in a little bit. So I got to go drag the softball field at some point tomorrow. But is what it is. Woo, Brian, 77-7. Man, that's a big one, dog. A lot to a little. That is something I think we can definitely say what happened, Ty. A lot to a little. Absolutely. 52-17. It's a good score. I don't think if Kansas scores 17 points on us, I'd probably be pissed. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's just my opinion. No more than 17. I agree, Jacob. 50 plus, no more 17. It's good. Yeah. Did we play a shortened quarter in the Western Carolina game? I must not even remember that. 76-0. Yes, 77-7 save for A&M. 66-3. Okay, 60 burger, Derek. I like that. Okay. Well, hey, 64-10. Okay. Dang, Brian, why you do it? You see, chill, bro. Just chill. It'll be okay. Leave that man alone. Hey, I've appreciated you guys, and it's been fun interacting with you back and forth. Obviously, typically Trav and I will do most of the talking. We'll allow you guys to comment, and then we'll do questions at the end. But it's been fun kind of chatting back and forth with you guys throughout the whole process. Thank you for going back and forth with me. Thanks for being here on a Wednesday night. Shout out to everybody that came out. Ty, love you, bro. We're going to get together soon. Y'all look out for me on Around the Table Sports. I will also have Ty hopefully on this show with me and Trav at some point in the next couple of weeks if it works out for the schedule. Jacob, thank you for all your hard work and what you said. Grant, have a good night, my guy. Tijuana, appreciate you for coming out. Brian, appreciate you. Derek, thank you, brother. Jimmy, appreciate you. Let me see if I'm missing anybody else that's really chatted with us a little bit. No, that's been the core guys that really said some stuff, core people. So hey, I appreciate you guys. We'll talk soon. Hey, real quick. Yeah, he's that guy. Y'all please go check him out. Make sure y'all subscribe to his channel. He's a great guy. Oh, Sheila, thank you, Boomer, Sooner baby. Um, Good night, Riley. Hey, we'll talk to you guys soon. Another fun thing that I'm hoping to do. I'm hoping to do something with my sister. Really quick before I let you guys go. My sister runs track at University of Oklahoma. She's a sophomore right now. She's a sprinter. So I'm hoping to have her on here maybe one of these days when I go down to Oklahoma in November for Thanksgiving. We're gonna go and see my dad. I'm gonna see my dad's gravestone for the first time. Obviously he passed in January. A lot of you guys know that and have been there for me through that whole process. But I'm going to go see that. My wife is pregnant right now, so we're going to have a baby shower. So that'd be cool. So I'll be down there. Try to have my sister on live show. Heck, we may even try to go up to Trey's Bar and Grill and do a whole live thing with Travis. Who knows? We'll see. But I'll be at the Iowa State game. For those of you that live in the area, DM me on Twitter or maybe the week before. We'll do this Wednesday thing the week before that or that Saturday, and I'll just say, hey, if you're gonna be there, let me know, and then we'll link up. Hey, appreciate you guys, love you guys. See you soon, Boomer.